have to go anywhere because this is the Talk Beat Jones, and
All right, this is the Talk Beat Jones, and I am Billy E. Jones. And let me do this. I was doing some extra work here. Let the eyes take it over. Again, I am Billy E. Jones, and this is the Talk Beat Jones, and I want to welcome you to the Virgin Islands. How about that? Took that trip, took that 747, flew over here in the studios at WHPR, WHPS. And so this is your Talk Beat Jones. Again, we come on the air Wednesdays. That's from 10 a.m. until 11 a.m. And, of course, on 15.2, you can watch that program on 15.2 on Sundays from at 4 to 5. You know, family, you can also go to the RJ's page, is what we generally do, but we're doing some transitioning right at this point. So what I'm going to do is tell you that you will be able to go to the YouTube TV33 on demand and catch the whole show, okay? We'll do it that way. I got something that I'm going to put in queue so that through the future you'll know what we're getting ready to transition at different points. When I talk about the art, the African arts, etc., that we've spoken to you, that we have been commissioned by the persons who own the African art to be able to work with the station so that I can get some donations through selling or letting you come by and pick up some art. So I'm going to show you at some point some pieces that I brought in, and these pieces are from the Miss Jeffries collection, and so we've had 3 auction sales from her collection, and has been really, really wonderful. So these are other pieces that will come from that collection, because you know, if you have love for what you're doing, you want to do as much as you can to try to participate and let other folks know here's how you can also help you show love. So that from that collection we'll take pieces and we'll show you the pieces and show you how you'll be able to get those pieces at a particular point. But today I'm going to just show you a couple, 3 pieces for those art collectors who like African art, statues. I'll be bringing in prints, paintings, etc. as well, so that you'll be able to, for Christmas potentially, or whatever the holiday is for you, or if it's just a process where you say, I want that piece. Well, we're going to put it up there and let you find out how you tell you how you can pick that particular piece up or pieces. It's going to be interesting, and you can give me some feedback at some point by calling 313-365-7379 so that you can be able to pick up the pieces at some future date, if you like. But also, I'm going to at some point give you the number. I'm going to put up maybe 3 or 4, about 4 or 5 numbers, and if you match those numbers, how about, let's say, you can claim one of the pieces today. We'll do it that way, and I'll show you piece number 1, piece number 2, piece number 3. And so after the commercial break, when I come back, I will have 5 numbers, and for persons who choose to call in, and it's like you match those numbers, I will give you the option of which of these pieces that you want to pick up at no cost. How about that? How about that? So come on and play with me today and play with that African art. But again, We're going to show it to you, and we're going to allow you to be able to say, ooh, I like that one. I win, but did I win? Well, like I say, after the commercial break, I'll give you those numbers. So, but the number to call is 313-365-7379 today, and we'll be able to find out who we're speaking to and what is your comment. Today is, let's call it Open Wednesday. Let's do it that way, call it Open Wednesday. On the way here, I was listening, and I'm listening to persons who have a professional degree. It's called a professional degree, physician's assistants, etc. And by pursuing that particular degree, you are able to receive X amount of dollars while you're going through these training, schoolwork towards that degree. Well, now I hear that that particular or professional degrees, mostly in the health field, are being capped at $20,000. That's all you can get. Now for a physician assistant, now you do know that ain't no money for your degree. And then to have that particular degree says it's not a professional degree, you may need to check your sources and do a little research if you're looking to go into the professional degree in healthcare and find out if the degree that you're seeking, will it be considered a professional degree, because that determines the amount of money that you're going to be able to make. Also, while you're pursuing that degree, the monies that you're going to spend for the courses that you used to be able to have grant money, loan money, is now capped at $20,000. Terrible thing, terrible thing. We also, I stay away from this primarily, but today I'm going to just put my little toes in there, Let's go into this Epstein situation that our country is looking at. If you notice that all of the other particulars, things that you need to understand about your own particular care, your own particular situation and how you're involved, has been pushed to the background now, because now they have finally been able to bring up this Epstein situation that they've been really running away from. They're also showing the victims. They're showing the victims that was abused, raped, and their lives turned completely into chaos, because, you know, things that happen to you as a youngster generally sometimes will shape your idea of who you are later in life. Things that happen to you as a youngster are things that you often have flashbacks that create a psychological, emotional imbalance in your life. And what they're doing is showing you the young girls, they're not young per se now, but they are showing you the victims, and the victims are showing you pictures of themselves as they were going through this abuse, the particular raping situation, because you got girls that are ladies that are there who were showing you that at 13 to 14 years of age, these particular things was happening to them. It's one thing, but where we are and what's happening, it's almost where you can't talk about it, because there are so many things that's happening that said, oops, you shouldn't have said that. Oops, you shouldn't have did that. Ooh, you shouldn't have showed that. So I'm not going to put my toes, but just a little bit for you to know that in that Epstein situation, the knowledge is that the victims, many of the victims are coming forward, or they have bonded, and people are really upset. So, you know, if that's something that you want to look at and research, it's the Epstein's files. However, I'm going to take my toes out of that situation, and that's as far as I will go, okay? But, you know, again, as this is, again, is that Open Wednesday, I do have to reach out and say Detroit Pistons, Detroit Pistons, Detroit Pistons. Who would have believed this year that at this juncture, the Detroit Pistons have a 11-game winning streak? An 11-game winning streak. And they have the second best record, winning record, in all of professional basketball. That black general manager for the Detroit Pistons is a man's man, is a sportsman that people say, I wish I could be like him. He took his time putting together the pieces. He believed in developing his young team. He believed in going for the best coaches who may have been outed in terms of them saying, we don't want you no more, even though they may have won a championship, even though they may have come in almost first place. They're saying, no, we don't want you no more. Smart enough to take those great minds, those great persons that knew how to work with the players. Yes, he went through a couple, three, but all of those were good coaches. Maybe one kind of fly in the thing may not have been all that. May not have been, but the ship was righted, has been righted. A young team, brilliant ball players, team players. It's what basketball is about. A team, but you got to have them stars. But what I've seen in a small glimpse, just an eyelid of the team, it just seems that all of the players are willing to step up at any given time to make sure that people know this is Detroit basketball and this is who we are. Don't come in our house, but we'll come in your house and we're going to take the rim down. So, Detroit basketball. You go to Detroit football. Now, Detroit football has been something of a learning curve. The learning curve is that you did last year may not apply to what can happen to your team this year. You can go in with all the enthusiasm, with all the cockiness, etc. about this, that, etc. And these are the changes. However, the changes are not quite working. We had the situation where all of the players was getting injured, and the team was able to still continue to power through until the playoffs. Well, the question this year now is, will Detroit make the playoffs? Why is it that we're saying, will Detroit make the playoffs? Well, from the observations that this guy, Billy E. Jones, make, is that there was a coach, an innovative coach, a coach that had a feel for the players and a feel for the game and a feel for what the other team defensive coordinator was thinking and how to set the mode so that that defensive coordinator on the other team will be looking for certain plays, a certain situation in down and distances or at time of the game, etc. It's a chess game. It's not a checker game. It's a chess game. And this coach really understood how to set the other defensive coordinator up to be where he wants him to be so that all of a sudden he'd pull out that special play. Not just a game plan, but that special play that would make him say, oops, we weren't quite prepared for that. We wasn't not expecting that. And it works. That's what Detroit football was about, how innovative and how all of a sudden you come up with plays and things that people had not seen. And it fueled the energy and it fueled the players, because now they knew they had something always that can potentially work and catch the other team off guard. This year, the team went back to a coordinator who had been around before, has been around football, but did not have that spark, that surprise, them plays, that set up, playing checkers when the other person was playing chess. The player that was playing chess, that is the coach that was playing chess, is now the head coach of the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears was a bad team, couldn't win. Even though they had the number one draft choice, the quarterback, bad man, but everyone was critiquing and criticizing what he did, how he did, and what he was not doing on that team. That team was smart enough to hire off of the Detroit Lions team that head coordinator that was tricking the whole league and making Detroit football, regardless of the injuries, regardless of the players that came and had to go, it was the plays that he designed and pulled them out at a particular time that would allow the Detroit Lions to continue to win. And Dan Campbell, the head coach, is the person that says, well, let's go for it. But he did not have to create the scenario to bring in those special offshoot plays. That means something that the other team really was not expecting and had not, in his mind, been flowing with the setup. Because the head coach has so many various things that he has to keep on his mind, on his plate at all different times. Whereas the coordinator's whole particular thing is to offensively play the game against the defensive coordinator. The difference. The Chicago Bears right now is in first place. How about that? How about that? And now people are talking about that quarterback, Caleb Williams, who was the number one draft choice. And now his skills, his ability, his confidence is the fact that he realizes, man, look, I was considered the very best in my class coming out of college. That doesn't stop because I put in my professional time on a professional team. It did not change. But the people around him and the coaches around him did not understand how to utilize his talent, but even then did not have the players surrounding him that would allow those plays to work. By bringing in this coach from the Detroit Lions, made him the head coach, his whole particular thing is, yeah, I got this quarterback. Yeah, I can bring in these free agents. Yeah, we can draft. And he did that. And now they're winning. And guess what? Those plays, those innovative plays with that coach's mind that's doing what he's doing, has allowed them to pull games out the way he did with the Detroit Lions. In contrast, the offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions has been kind of pushed to the side, and Dan Campbell is now saying he is responsible. He wants to show people that he is responsible. And the first time he did it, put on his glasses, made some calls. Okay, potential. But you see, when you are a gambler, it's like an addiction. You're going to gamble. You know, there are people who have to go to different places to help them get rid of their addictions. Dan Campbell is a gambler. Whereas there is a thing about football that says when you get in a position to score points, you don't leave those points on the field. But Dan Campbell is a gambler. And when you get down whereby you can score at least 3 points, because you feel that your offense can do greater, better, take those points and get the next time around. Because now you got to believe that your defense can stop the other team. Dan Campbell gave up 3, 6, 9 points. Gambling. Now, was it because of the conditions? I'm not here to critique or criticize. I believe still in Dan Campbell. And I believe that he will turn this around and he will go through his playbook and will use his film time and develop other plays, greater plays, because some of the plays that I saw on television, I'm not a person sitting in the stands and saying I'm rooted in my opinion because I come and spend my money at the games. I don't do that. I watch on TV like many of you do. But Dan Campbell and the other coordinator they brought in is not at the skill level of the coordinator that went to become the head coach of the Chicago Bears. So we've got to be patient. We've got to be patient because the one thing that Dan Campbell will do, he will make the adjustments. He will look and he'll figure it out. Now, let me retract. But I'm not retracting, I'm just bringing another side. The thing to Dan Campbell, when we say that those things did not work, was he wrong? No. He knows his team greater, better than anyone else. So if he walked away from those 3 points, he believed that his team could could at least get the first down or score. I will not be one of those haters that say, oh man, Dan, you shouldn't. No. Because as we look through the football league this year, what are they thinking about Patrick Mahomes? The one that everybody anointed as the God in terms of playing football, the quarterback. What do they think about the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson? What about they think about what's happened to the Green Bay Packers? What happened to the Washington Capitals? What happened to the Buffalo? I say this because these teams were slated to potentially be in the Pro Bowl, in the Super Bowl again, or playing for the Super Bowl, or playing and coming out the playoffs, headed towards the Super Bowl. But they also have losses. And as I speak about the Detroit Lions, the team that's in worst condition playoff style is the Kansas City Chiefs. And when we look at them reporting about the champion, Philadelphia, you wonder why is it that they still go through the aspect of wanting to anoint the Buffalo Bills as the team. And this guy, Josh, great quarterback. Great quarterback. But I remember when the Buffalo Bills was playing in the final game, which was before the Super Bowls, for what, 3 or 4 straight years. And those 3 or 4 straight years, they came out being the second best team in all of football. They did not win. So Buffalo has this monkey on his back, or this witch on his back, that has said, we're going to show them that we can be good, we can be great. But I'm going to put this spell on you, baby, where we can't get you over the top. So let us understand the Detroit Lions, we're still there. We've got to believe the grit, the grime, the biting the kneecaps. That will come back. That will come back. They're suffering again some injuries at some key spots, but they still have the time. It may not be as right in your face that we're going to make the playoffs as it was last year. But it is just like the fans of the Kansas City Chiefs. They still believe that Kansas City is going to make the playoffs and then ascend to become the Super Bowl champions again. And there was one thing about Philadelphia. When they have the star receiver, A.J. Green, and he has been talking about the fact that he was not getting the ball. That he was not getting the ball. Last year, when he was not getting the ball, there was a book that between the offense and the defense being on the field, when he was not on the field, he would sit on the sidelines and read this book. And people wanted to critique, how is he reading the book? He was keeping his mind focused on the fact that, yeah, I'm not getting the ball, but I still got to keep my mind on the game, keep my mind solid. And he read these scriptures, or whatever it was from the book, to keep him focused. He spoke this week about the fact that he wasn't getting the ball, but he didn't complain so much. He says, the game plan, people are catching up with the game plan. You got to bring the game plan back and incorporate. And people wanted to try to jump him because he was saying these things, but guess what? This last game, oh my goodness. The man got the ball, and he produced, and he produced. So sometimes people will listen to you. If you complain but you don't go crazy. And the quarterback was smiling. And they was brothers in love again. Just like I'm in love with you. Here on the Talk Beat Jones. Remember, on the air every Wednesday from 10 to 11. You can also watch us on 15.2 on Sundays. Okay? And we're going to come back after these commercial announcements here in the beautiful studios of the Virgin Islands. I am Billy E. Jones, and we'll be back shortly.
Doesn't have to go anywhere because this is the Talk Beat Jones, and
Watkins Broadcasting is going worldwide. Now you can watch Detroit's own WHPR on your TV from anywhere in the world. No matter where you are, you can stay in the know with WHPR TV and Roku. You can get your easy-to-install Roku box from wherever you shop for your entertainment gear. Once your Roku box is connected to your TV and internet, go to the channel store on the home menu of the Roku box. Enter WHPR TV in the search engine and add it to your channels. That's it. That's all you need to get the best in entertainment, news, and talk, no matter where you are. Roku brings all of your favorites to your TV. Netflix, Hulu Plus, Crackle, HBO Go, and now WHPR TV, Detroit Live. TV 33 is moving to WHPS TV channel 15.2. make sure to rescan the channels on your TV. Then go to WHPS channel 15.2 to pick up TV 33 and all of your favorite shows. The move is on, and we want you to move with us to WHPS channel 15.2.
Justice for Mario Willis. Truth. Facts. Evidence. Matter. Log into justiceformariowillis.com. Read for yourself. Justice for Mario Willis. Truth. Facts. Evidence. Matter. Log into justiceformariowillis.com. Read for yourself.
Don't have to go anywhere because this is the Talk Beat Jones and
All right. All right, this is Talk Beat Jones again. I'm Billy Jones. I'm excited to be in the Virgin Islands. Remember, you can watch the Talk Beat Jones every Wednesday from 10 to 11 and on WHPR, WHPS. And also you can go to 15.2 on Sundays and you can watch the program from 4 to 5 p.m. And today is now. Next, it's kind of freestyle for me today. And just touch on a few things. Now I'm going to move to what I was going to speak to you about earlier. In my hand, I have a piece of paper. Behind this piece of paper, there are 5 numbers. If anyone wants to play with me today, call 313-365-7379. Once again, write these numbers down because, again, I'll tell you why these numbers are so important. 313-365-7379. Call those numbers and get in. Why? Because I'm going to show you real quickly here the art, show you the statues that are brought in today from the Jeffries collection. That's right, from the Jeffries collection. These are 3 of the pieces. If you were wanting to buy the pieces, the piece to your right, my left, your right, which when I put my arm out is actually your left, right? So you're looking at the pieces. The first piece that you see is black. That piece sells for almost $300. Okay? The piece that you see in the center sells for $350. The piece that you see to your far left sells for $450. Now, you can buy the pieces, and the process is that all the pieces from the Jeffries collection that we bring in and we show them to you, that you just remember piece number 1, piece number 2, Piece number 3, going from your right, my left. This is my left hand. So on television, everything is reversed. Okay? And you will be able to say, I want to buy that piece. What is the price? If you're the first person to walk in and say you want to buy that piece, or want to call me and say you want to buy that piece, I'll give that piece to you for half price when you tell me that you saw the show on the Virgin Islands. And 50% of everything that come off of today's collection is donated to the station. How about that? It's donated to the station. Because again, we love the station, and if we can find ways to help our operation here, I say our operation because as a family, we operate together. So that's what we're doing, and this is based upon the vision that the Jeffrey collection, Ms. Jeffrey's collection, has said, help the station. So I'm going to commission this particular style to help the station. So if you say, no, I can do better than that, I can get it for free. Well, regardless of the price that I just talked to you about, you match these numbers, there's 5. You match these numbers, you can choose any one of those statues that you want, and it will be a gift from the Jeffries collection and WHPR, WHPS. I'm just a vessel trying to make it happen. So let me give you that number once again. It is 313 365 7379. Write it down real quick. 313 365 7379. And come on and tell your friends that they don't even have to be watching the show. They don't even have to be watching the show. They can just call in and say, here are my numbers, Billy. Did I win? You give me 5 numbers, I will simply pick this up. I'll take a look, and I'll let you know they match. You're the winner. You're the winner. You may not have won the Mega Million or the Mega Trillion or the Billion or whatever it may become, but you got you a fantastic statue from the Jeffries collection. And I'll say this for you. This is not no sit on the corner type of thing where it's just people. No, I state to you, this is from the Jeffries collection that there's been 3 movements of persons coming to pick up and spend the money to get these statues and paintings and prints and various different situations from the collection that was all successful. Bernard, for those who know, Bernard was the person that put it together. And Bernard didn't play, rest in peace. He made sure that all of these pieces were top quality. African statues that are not statues someone in their garage put it together and say, hey, here's one look like. No, this is not that. So again, I got the paper. You got the communication system. Use it. 313 365 7379. And let me see if I can't put one of these beautiful African statues in your collection. Or, as you choose to make it a gift, it's yours. It's yours. All you got to do is call and say, this is what I think I want. No, I want them. I know I got the right number. I know I got the vision. I know I got the number. That my ancestors have talked to me. They done told me, give him these numbers right here. Huh? You know, when you sit down and go through your lotto and you got them numbers, you know you're going to win. Do you know, real quickly, that I've had 2 people use 2 different cars that I've had that have played my license plate number and have won. Have won. So you never know where you're going to get the vision to see some numbers and say, I'm going to play those. See, I didn't have the vision. I didn't have the insights to play those numbers that people kept telling me. Those are good numbers. But next time I saw the people, they said, man, your numbers came out. So I'm riding around making other folks money on my numbers, on my car. And I didn't have the faith to believe that the vessel had been placed right there on my car. Play these numbers. No, I don't believe that. So whatever comes in your head, you just heard it now. Go with the flow. Go with the flow. You may be the only person that make that call. You may be the only person, however, that matches these numbers. And what I will do is that as we go through, because once the program is complete and it's live right now, it will be put into the YouTube queue. So when you go to the YouTube queue, I'm telling you now, family, if you go to the YouTube queue, and the same thing that I said live here, if you choose to contact me, I will, again, have 5 different numbers. And you can make that same deal. How about that? In fact, Tim, I think we'll play the same 3 next week if we have them. If no one wins today, I will do the same system next week. How about that? I'll do the same system next week so that more of you who were out, didn't see it, couldn't get it, didn't feel it, I'll make this a process of the program next week on a Talk Beat Jones. And we'll see who will find that they want to walk away with a live presentation of the African art statue. Choose anyone that you want. But here's the deal. If someone comes to the station and says, well, I like that piece that I saw on the Talk Beat Jones. Here is how many dollars I got. Can I walk away with that statue? I'll say this for it. I gave prices. So I'll make it very easy. The baseline price is $300. You come in and make an offer that's respectable. I will contact the person and find out if that offer can be accepted. You say, well, look, it's cost $300. I want to give you $150. I got one over there costs $400. But again, we'll just make the whole baseline. Everything is over $300. I'll make the baseline $300. And you come in, you say, I got half of that. Can I walk away? Now, if you and some other person walk in, somebody else says, well, I got a $175. Then it will go to the highest person who is offering on that particular piece. Okay? We'll do it that way. And we're going to start bringing in different pieces and show you how you don't just have to go to the other stations that tell you what we got this is this and this is that and whatever. I'll come in once we go back to our WHPR, go back to the other site, and I'll have them on the table. We'll have them labeled, and that you'll be able to see throughout the show the statues. They'll be on there with me. and we'll talk about it. But we're going to do our program. We're going to still bring my guest in. We're going to still do what I do, take in and go with a subject and flow with it, and still ask you if you want to call or just listen to me talk. Today is more of just a relaxation, kind of easy flow, kind of like just hear me out, hear me. Just touching on things, touching here, touching there. How many of you went through the process of having to try to figure out if you were going to have food? How many of you went through the process of trying to find out where were you going to find the food that fits your diet, your culture? How many of you were surprised that the government came down to the last day and suddenly everything was righted? Was that for you to have to respond to the big brother effect that I give to you and I can take from you? I can make all 42 million of you be responsive to what we do all the way to the last minute. I can force you to go through the stress, the strain, the anxiety, the upheaval in some families because the pressure got to be too much. Go through the children having anxiety because they didn't know if they were going to eat. All of this time, these actions being played out in 42 million folks' minds. So now, if you just add one person to the 42 million, now you've got 84 million. I'm talking about attach one person to each of those one persons that's in that 42 million. You come up with now 84 million folks that's dealing with anxieties. Because if your friend, your child, your relative, your bestie is in that situation, tell me, aren't some of you going to be worried with them? Aren't some of you going to be worried because now you know your besties or your whatever that situation is going to be struggling because they have to decide on, do they have to stay and provide the child care themselves? How they're going to pay for the child care and provide food? Those are issues. Those are scenarios. But did Big Brother care about the fact that mentally, emotionally, you're suffering? You are suffering. Is that the way we were dealing with things in America? Well, before the SNAP programs, there were other programs. And it's not just this administration that have brought these situations to the last minute, falling off the cliff to make all the folks have all this anxiety, all this stress. No, it's happened before, but under different categories. So just remember, whatever you see that the government is doing, it is something that folks have had to go through past generations. Different, but they've had to go through some pain and suffering. And yet, that time in those situations, they did go through it and everything was passed. I like to say, this too shall pass. We feel here, me, that God is always going to be good. God is always going to be good. And I say this because my father, that's 93 years of age, died when he was in his late 70s. And guess what? God says, you're too good. I need you. I need you to take care of the family and all those friends and associates that depend upon you. I don't need you here with me now. And he awakened my father. My father is now 93 years of age, didn't have no effects, no after effects. None. Take care of himself, do everything. And when it came time, was able to take care of my mother when God was preparing her to join him. Himself. No rehab center, no hospitals, no places where you go to prepare for them to leave this earth. No. Father kept my mother at home, kept her beautiful, kept her loved. Even to the end-ish, when all my mother can do was just breathe on the telephone with me being here in Detroit and her in Berkeley, California. That's love. And that's the type of love that I bring. Always believing. And as I see and watch things happen in this country, and like you, I get shaky, get a little nervous, get a little anxious, get a little anxiety. My father would always say, it's in God's hands, and that's the best hands that the world has ever seen. And it's going to be all right, son. You just hold on and believe. And then I've realized everything that we get all anxious and all upset about, etc., that we think the cliff is about to jump up on us, we're going to fall over. And all the things that we talk about, there's always where they take it and they bring it to the almost the end, and then they find a way to make it work. But you got to hold the faith. You got to hold the faith. You can't just say, oh, my world is just crushed. I'm just... And I say it this way. If you're in a relationship and that relationship has gotten sour, does that mean that your world is ending? No. No. It means prepare yourself for the challenge of being loved yourself. You see, when the outside love, which is the other person, walks out the door or is indoor with you, but have a shut door in their mind with you, it's okay. It's okay. That episode, it too shall pass. But you don't have to lose your mind, because like they say, when this is gone, if you keep who you are, if you keep your energy, if you keep your spirit, if you keep your love, you keep the upkeep of yourself, yeah, that too shall pass. But guess what? This shall come in. Keep yourself together. Love always has a chance to knock on the door, but see, when you were with the other persons, you was blinders. You didn't want to see. You didn't want to hear the knock on the door that they was trying to give to you, because you were focused on that you had with you, in front of you. But again, if you keep your mind together, if you keep your heart still, when that is not for you is walking away from you, and you understand, take the blinders off. Check behind door number 7. And happiness and love and companionship, no matter whether you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, you got folks who got married at 80, 90 years of age because they found love. You can do it too. march to that love tune. Keep it in your heart. Don't let no one steal the love that you have inside of you. Don't let anyone take the fact that you have love that you want to share. If they don't want to share it with you, do what you got to do. But just keep your mind. And some people say, why do you laugh? Well, if you walk around with a sour face, everything that's around you, everything that comes to you is sour. You draw nothing but sour people to you. Because people that's happy don't want to be with sour people. You know, you say birds that fly together kind of flock together. That's what happens. That's life. Well, you know, today's episode of the Talk Beat Jones, again, if you go through my catalog, it has over 300 some odd shows. You'll find that every show that I've done, everything I do on television is different. Everything that I do is different. Why? Because why do I have to duplicate something that was great one day when I can duplicate something that's going to be great that day? Cocky, huh? No. I rest assured in God. I rest assured that when I take this seat, He's going to bless me so I can bless you. How about that? So don't forget, you still have time. I got just a few minutes more. 313-365-7379. And if you didn't believe that I had 5 numbers, I will reveal those 5 numbers before I go off the air. And so you may be sitting there saying, dang, I had those numbers. I had those numbers, okay? Well, I'll tell you what. Let's see if you have the numbers just here. I know you won't be able to see it, but you can see I have numbers here. I'm going to read them to you. All right. The winning numbers on the statues today from the Jeffries collection. And you can look and you can see the collection that I'm speaking of. The numbers 7, 12, 23, 36, and the final number 37. Once again, 7, 12, 23, 36, and 37. Those were your 5 winning numbers today. Next week, we will have different numbers. We'll bring back the collection. Let someone walk in here and say, can I take this one home? You can do that. Let me tell you this. I am Billy Jones. This has been Talk Beat Jones. Again, we're on the air every Wednesday from 10 to 11 a.m. And, of course, you can watch us on Sundays from 15.2. It is so wonderful to be here in your part of your heart, part of your love, part of your understanding about life with the Talk Beat Jones guy. I am Billy E. Jones. Looking forward to seeing you, hearing from you, and coming to you with the Talk Beat Jones next week. Love you, peace, prosperity, and keep that heart open. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Don't have to go anywhere because this is the Talk Beat Jones, and I